Back. Well, Mr. K, we also do know that the Minister of Information did say upon his restatement that there's nothing wrong, that the EFCC can go ahead with their investigation while he's on.
The only thing I think I'll draw your attention to at a point in time when the security agencies raided the houses of judges about last year. This same Minister of Information said that the position of the government is that they cannot continue to be in office while they are being investigated, that they should step aside, stay away from office. Like I told you about indictment, indictment is even a better scenario in the public service in the sense that all those people are sitting on files. They can cut away files and all of that. The judges don't have access to cutting away files. They're going to cut away case files. But the position of government then was that they should stay away. Here is the ambivalence now. The Minister of Information comes back and says, in short, he suffers a brief memory loss and says he doesn't even know that the Executive Secretary, is being investigated. But even though he's being investigated, or even if he's being investigated, that he can stay in the office while being investigated. And of course, you notice what happened, I think, either in the social media or the regular media, when they said, when this Executive Secretary was reinstated, that files began to develop leaks and all of that. In other words, there is always a cover-up for anybody who is being investigated.
But if that were the case, why is it then, does that restrict or impede the EFCC from going on with the investigation?
But I think the EFCC has started their initial investigation. But the question to ask now is, what stage is that investigation? But you see, I'm more bothered about the indiscipline this kind of scenario creates in the system. We have noticed that, in short, in one of your newspaper reviews this morning, you talked about, there was this case of the DSS talking about, complaining about other EFCC, or EFCC complaining about them and all of that. This interagency rivalry is all about indiscipline. You also associate this scenario, which falls on all fours, with what happened in NNPC, where the Minister of State, for whatever reason, his memo to the presidency leaked. And it was the whole country was asking questions with regard to, the reporting, level, or the reporting breakage that took place, or that exists, or existed. I don't know whether it still exists, between the Minister of State and the Managing Director of NNPC. Until the thing got the attention of the presidency. And of course, you notice how that thing was resolved. Go back and sort out your problems and all of that.
Do you think
there is also this kind of scenario that almost played out last year between the Minister of Finance and the management of the customs? In other words, what it takes for you to go either against the law or become so untouchable is begin to show some relationship with the presidency or the president himself.
Is that not assuming too much?
But that's what played out here. The gentleman said, "Look, you cannot sack me," and he was brought back to the Minister of Health.
Are you forgetting?
And he's working there now. And the man says everything is working well.
Mr. But he also talks about some of the things, some of the reasons why they are fighting against him. He says they are fighting against him, more or less, because he's trying to put things in order.
Of course, now that's why there's controversy, because there is a fight. I mean, it's not like it's new. But we also have seen this happen with the Minor case. Minor came very sanctimonious about how he's coming to, how do I put it now? How he is going to get the place working. Make sure that everything is working in the pension, is it pension section or whatever pension scheme
do you think the NHIS is able to? And
the general impression then was that while Minor was acting sanctimoniously, trying to put the pension scheme in place, that he was helping himself. And that is why the allegation is still on my not resolved until today. I don't know about whether it has been resolved, but it has not been resolved.
So in this case...
So we may be traveling the same road here.
In this case, he went on suspension, about 7 months or 8 months suspension. And at that point, when he was away, was it pertinent that he be reinstated, do you think? Because he said at some point that while he was away, a lot of things were going wrong.
Well, you see, if I were the president, what I would have done is to probably look at this report, get a small committee to look at it. Let it be that it is that committee that looked at it and said he doesn't have any substance, or he's being accused, that he's innocent of the accusation and all of that. Then on the strength of this, he can bring him back. But what we had that all of these recommendations refund 580 million that were erroneously or at least fraudulently paid to some HMOs or some hospitals or whoever they were paid to. Everything was swept under the carpet by a mere reinstatement. And as far as we are concerned, that has become history. The man says the place is working well.
But because he also said that they are looking at the books.
They are looking at
the books.
Who is looking at the books now?
The NHIS.
They are looking at the books. It should be other people looking at the books, not the executive secretary of the NIHs.
Let's not go at that point, pending when we revisit the matter. Thank you very much indeed for coming on, Mr. George, a.k.a. legal practitioner. So we will be back in a moment and turn our attention to another matter entirely. Don't go away.